Once upon a time, there was a boy named Marco, who had been the only child of his family for a long time. Everyone's attention, love, and focus were always on him. His parents fulfilled his every wish and cherished every moment they spent together as the most precious time. Marco had grown up as the apple of his family's eye and thought this would never change. However, one day, his mother told him that he would soon have a sibling. A strange feeling began to stir inside Marco. He sensed that his life would change when his sibling was born, but he couldn't quite understand what that meant. Months passed, and his little brother Luca was born. With Luca's arrival, everything in the house began to revolve around him. His mother spent all her time taking care of Luca, and his father also took every opportunity to be with him. Luca's cries, laughter, and even his sleep had become the most important events in the house. Marco suddenly felt like he was no longer the center of attention. This feeling sparked a fire of jealousy inside him. Before Luca was born, Marco used to play games with his mother every day, and his father would tell him stories every evening. But now, his mother was too busy caring for Luca to spend as much time with Marco. His father spent so much time putting Luca to bed that the story time Marco had cherished became less frequent. Marco began to feel left out and lonely. The jealousy growing inside him conflicted with the love he had for his brother Luca. On one hand, he wanted to protect Luca, but on the other, he was annoyed by his presence. One day, his father came home with a big toy car. Marco thought the car was for him. But when his father placed the toy in Luca's crib, Marco felt a sharp pang in his heart. He was deeply disappointed. It seemed to Marco that all the gifts that used to be given to him were now being given to Luca. His jealousy grew stronger. He started avoiding playing with Luca and tried various ways to win back his family's love. As days went by, Marco became increasingly upset by the constant attention and affection Luca received. One day, his mother took Marco to the park. While Marco played, his mother was gently rocking Luca in his stroller. Marco was bothered by the fact that his mother was always focused on Luca. In his child's heart, he believed that Luca had taken his place. But just then, he noticed Luca leaning dangerously out of the stroller, about to fall. Marco paused for a moment. His jealousy almost stopped him from helping. But the thought lasted only a few seconds. He immediately ran to tell his mother to prevent Luca from getting hurt. His mother quickly grabbed Luca and saved him from falling. Marco saw the fear in his mother's eyes and then the look of gratitude she gave him. At that moment, Marco realized how meaningless his jealousy was. If something had happened to Luca, it would have broken his heart forever. He understood how much he actually loved his brother and felt a deep desire to protect him. After this incident, something inside Marco began to change. Instead of feeling jealous, Marco started taking care of his brother and getting to know him better. Luca's little joys slowly broke down the wall of jealousy that had built up inside Marco. Marco realized that Luca wasn't just a rival, but also a friend and playmate. The time they spent together filled Marco's heart with love. Now Luca's laughter no longer bothered Marco. Instead, it brought him happiness. Over time, Marco realized that his parents still loved him very much, but now that love had to be shared with Luca. This sharing only strengthened his bond with his family. Luca's presence taught Marco the importance of sharing, love, and brotherhood. The more Marco saw the happiness and love his brother brought into his life, the more his jealousy was replaced by a warm sense of affection. In the end, Marco cherished every moment spent with his brother Luca. He now felt lucky to have a sibling because the bond between them became the most valuable thing in his life. Marco left his feelings of jealousy behind and started living a happy and peaceful life with his brother. And so, Marco learned that he didn't need to be jealous of his brother, but instead, life was better with him by his side. The end. Please don't forget to subscribe and like our videos.